Hey moms, this is Kristen Cheetah with the Mom Minute for today. And I'm actually going to just kind of share a couple things that I wrote in an email last week. I'm also going to have this on a podcast. So if you want more than what these few minutes that I'm giving you, I'm going to be talking today about praying for your children. So if you want to go to kristencheetah.com, you can find the podcast there. But I just want to talk to you about, for just a couple minutes, about 3 things that you can pray for your kids. And every stage of our lives, our children need and can benefit from prayer. So my kids are all young adults, and yet I pray for my kids every single day. The 3 things I'm going to share today are still 3 main points that I pray for my kids. I want to just read you something Mark Batterson says, who, if you have not heard of him, he's written The Circle Maker, and he's also written a little tiny book that's Praying Circles Around Your Children. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. What we're wanting to do as we're praying for our kids is we want to see the way God sees. So we're kind of jumping up to the realm in the spirit where he dwells and just kind of praying from that point. And Mark just does a great job of just making that and clarifying that in both of those books. So I'm just going to read something that he has said, and I have it in my email here. Mark says, "There is nothing you can do that will have a higher return on investment. Prayer turns ordinary parents into prophets who shape the destiny of their children, grandchildren, and every generation that follows. Moms, you are a prophet in your home." All right, so here are the 3 things that I want you to pray for your kids. Pray, first of all, that they would know that they are sons and daughters. Pray those words over your children. That they need to know that they're chosen. They need to know that they belong. And not only that they're your son or daughter, but they belong to God. They belong to his family. So part of an important thing that we can pray is that they would just know whose they are. And sometimes you can hear that and think, oh, it just sounds so, I don't know, it kind of loses its deep meaning. But everything that God does is good. And I want you to be encouraged that God loves your children, that he calls them a son or he calls them a daughter. They are in his family. So just pray that they would understand, that your kids would know the love that God has for them as in that place of belonging. They are included. They belong in his family. They are chosen by God himself. So that's number 1. Number 2, pray that your kids understand, revelation understanding of the love that God has for them. Romans 5:8 says, and we might think, wait a minute, our kids are far from God, or gosh, they don't act like they should. But Romans 5:8 tells us this: God demonstrated his own love for us in this: while we were sinners, Christ died for us. God is love. This is his nature. He doesn't love your children because he has to put up with them. He loves them because he cannot not love them. Your children do not need to convince God to love them, and they can never convince him to stop loving him. God made up his mind before the creation of the world that he would love your child, love your kids. So one of the verses that I pray is Ephesians 3:18, and I'm going to read that right here. Paul's praying it for the Ephesus church, and it's these words: that you would grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ. So God's love is deeply intimate. God's love is far-reaching. Think about when you go into the ocean, and I'm going to the ocean tomorrow. And if you're sitting along the ocean and you glance out and you can just see the width, you can't see the whole thing. And you know the depth. We cannot escape his love. His love is endless. It's beyond measure for your children. So pray that they would know God's love for them. And lastly, pray that your kids would know that they're pleasing to God right now. Sometimes this is a tough one. Depending upon our own experience with God, this may be a hard concept to understand. Often we get focused on sin, rebellion, mistakes, failure, like, oh, I missed the target yet again. And again, might think that God just puts up with your children because he has to, because, he said he was going to love them. But I want you to know that God really likes your children and he really likes their process. And part of what we need to understand is, as moms and dads in the natural for our children, is that we would even embrace the process that they are in and the journey that they are on. They're in the process of becoming. So wherever they're at, they have become, but they will continue to become, just like you and I will continue to become until we see Jesus face to face. So I want you, lastly, I'm going to just kind of say one more thing about this. Think about a diamond, which I have on my ring, and I love to look and kind of get it in the sun and see it sparkle. But a diamond is a diamond in the whole process. So when they're down mining for diamonds, they're not looking for my gemstone. They know what they're looking for. They know how to mine. And then it goes, that rock that goes through all the processes of cleaning up. And it goes through the process of making it beautiful. And through all that process, it doesn't become a diamond in the finished process. It's a diamond the whole way through. And so are you, and so are your children. So your children, let them know they're pleasing to God. Let them know they're pleasing to you, that there aren't certain requirements that you have put on their hearts, on their lives, their behavior, that cause you to be pleased with them. Let them know that you are well pleased with them. Let them know that the Father is well pleased with them. He doesn't get stuck with the, woulda, shoulda, gosh, they're taking too long. That's just not who he is. So he loves them. So those are the 3 things to pray for them. First of all, they know they're sons and daughters. Secondly, they would know that they are loved by God. And thirdly, that they would know that the Father is pleased with them in their whole process. All right, be blessed. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you again on the Mom Minute.